Start. Pick over on the left. Start at the beginning. Gauntlet lock. Start at this page. This armored gauntlet has small chains and braces that allow the wearer to attach a weapon to the gauntlet so that it cannot be dropped easily. It provides a plus 10 bonus on any roll made to keep from being disarmed in combat. Removing a weapon from a locked gauntlet or attaching a weapon to a locked gauntlet is a full round action that provokes attacks of opportunity. The price given is for a single locked gauntlet. The weight given applies only if you're wearing a breastplate, light armor, or no armor. Otherwise, the locked gauntlet replaces a gauntlet you already have as part of the armor. While the gauntlet is locked, you cannot use the hand wearing it for casting spells or employing skills. You can still cast spells with somatic components, provided that your other hand is free. Like a normal gauntlet, a locked gauntlet lets you feel While the gauntlet is locked, you cannot use the hand wearing it for casting spells or employing skills. You can still cast spells with somatic components provided that your other hand is free. Like a normal gauntlet, a lock gauntlet lets you deal non-lethal damage rather than non-lethal damage with an unarmed strike. Like a normal gauntlet, a lock gauntlet lets you deal lethal damage rather than non-lethal damage with an unarmed strike. Half plate. A somewhat ineffective compromise between protection and weight. Half plate is actually more restrictive to the wearer's movement than full plate, but offers heavy protection at a lighter cost. Half plate does not have to be resized for new wearers. Half plate does not Half plate does not have to be resized for new wearers, making it more useful from a battlefield scavenger's point of view. The suit includes gauntlets. Scaled mail. Made of numerous metal or heavy leather scales sewn over a protective backing, much like banded mail. Scaled mail covers most of the body and can provide effective protection to those who do not wish a heavier suit of armor and its commensurate penalties to movement and agility. The suit includes gauntlets. Shield, heavy, wooden or steel. You strap a shield to your forearm. You strap a shield to your forearm. You strap a shield to your forearm and grip it with your hand. A heavy shield is so heavy that you cannot use your shield hand for anything else. Wooden or steel. Wooden and steel shields offer the same basic protection, though they respond differently to special attacks. Shield bash attacks. You can bash an opponent with a heavy shield, using it as an offhand weapon. See Table 6.4 for the damage dealt by a shield bash. Used this way, a heavy shield is a martial bludgeoning weapon. For the purpose of penalties on attack rolls, treat a heavy shield as a one-handed weapon. If you use your shield as a weapon, you lose its AC bonus until your next action, usually until the next round. An enhancement bonus on a shield does not improve the effectiveness of a shield bash made with it, but the shield can be made into a magic weapon in its own right. Shield, light, wooden, or steel. You strap a shield to your forearm and grip it with your hand. A light shield's weight lets you carry other items in that hand, although you cannot use weapons with it. Wooden or steel. Wooden and steel shields offer the same basic protection, though they respond differently to special attacks. Shield bash attacks. You can bash an opponent with a light shield, using it as an offhand weapon. See Table 6.4 for the damage dealt by a shield bash. Used this way, a light shield is a martial bludgeoning weapon. For the purpose of penalties on attack rolls, treat a light shield as a light weapon. If you use your shield as a weapon, you lose its AC bonus, armor class bonus, until your next action, usually until the next round. An enhancement bonus on a shield does not improve the effectiveness of the shield bash made with it, but the shield can be made into a magic weapon in its own right. Shield Tower. This massive wooden shield is nearly as tall as its wielder and tends to be very bulky and tiring over protracted use. In most situations, it provides the indicated shield bonus to your AC. However, you can instead use it as total cover, though you must give up your attacks to do so. The shield does not, however, provide cover against targeted spells. A spellcaster can cast a spell on you by targeting the shield you are holding. You cannot bash with a tower shield, nor can you use your shield hand for anything else. When employing a tower shield in combat, you take a -2 penalty on attack rolls because of the shield's encumbrance. Shield spikes. When added to your shield, these spikes turn it into a martial piercing weapon that increases the damage dealt by a shield bash, as if the shield were designed for a creature one size category larger than you. You cannot put spikes on a buckler or a tower shield. Otherwise, attacking with a spike shield is like making a shield bash attack. See above. An enhancement bonus on a spiked shield does not improve the effectiveness of a shield bash made with it, but a spiked shield can be made into a magic weapon in its own right. Splint mail. A hybrid armor that is essentially banded mail made of thin strips of metal aligned between layers of leather and cloth padding. Splint mail is an uncommon sight on the battlefield, but sometimes appears around soldiers without the funds to pay for more effective protection. The suit includes gauntlets. Masterwork armor. Just as with weapons, you can purchase or craft masterwork versions of armor or shields. Such a well-made item functions like the normal version, except that its armor check penalty is lessened by 1. A masterwork suit of armor or shield costs an extra 150 gold pieces over and above the normal cost for that type of armor or shield. The masterwork quality of a suit of armor or shield never provides a bonus on attack or damage rolls, even if the armor or shield is used as a weapon. You cannot add the masterwork quality to armor or a shield after it is created. It must be crafted as a masterwork item. They kept referencing 6.4. 6.5 is armor and shields. Damage dealt by a shield bash is on 6.4, it says. One-handed melee weapons, ranged weapons. Two-handed melee weapons. Table 6.4 weapons, okay. Spiked shield light. Damage small for 1d3. Damage medium 1d4. Critical times 2. Wait, special type is piercing. Okay. Oh, gosh. Rapier, short spear, strike, unarmed, war axe, dwarven, whip, armor, Table 6.5 armor and shields. Table 6.6 armor for unusual creatures. Okay, so it has masterwork armor. Has to be crafted that way. Tiny or smaller. Okay, so 6.6 armor for unusual creatures. Size tiny or smaller. Cost times half. Weight times 1/10. Cost times 1 and weight times 1/10. Small, cost times 1, weight times half. Cost times 2, weight times half. Medium, cost times 1, weight times 1. Cost times 2 and weight times 1. Humanoid and non-humanoid. Okay, I was kind of reading it wrong. So small, humanoid, cost times 1, weight times 1/10. And non-humanoid, tiny or smaller, cost times 1, weight times 1/10. Humanoid and non-humanoid. Small humanoid times 1 times a half. Non-humanoid times 2 times a half. Medium humanoid times 1, weight times 1. Non-humanoid times 2, weight times 1. Large humanoid times 2, weight times 2. Non-humanoid cost times 4, weight times 2. Huge humanoid times 4, weight times 5. Cost for non-humanoid times 8. Non-humanoid weight times 5. Gargantuan cost times 8, weight times 8 for humanoid. Non-humanoid cost times 16, weight times 8. Colossal humanoid cost times 16, weight times 12. Non-humanoid cost times 32, weight times 12. Divide armor bonus by 2 for tiny or smaller. Table 6.7 Donning armor. Armor type shield any don 1 move action. Don hastily remove 1 move action. Armor type padded leather, hide, studded leather, or chain shirt. Don is 1 minute. Don hastily 5 rounds. Remove 1 minute. If the character has some help, cut this time in half. A single character doing nothing else can help 1 or 2 adjacent characters. 2 characters cannot help each other. Don armor at the same time. Armor type breastplate, scale mail, chain mail, banner mail, or splint mail. Don 4 minutes. Don hastily 1 minute. Remove 1 minute. Half plate or full plate. Don 4 minutes. The wearer must have help to don this armor. Without help, it can be donned only hastily. 4 minutes. If a character has some help, cut this time in half. Remove 1d4 plus minutes. 1 minute. All suits of magic armor and magic shields are automatically considered to be of masterwork quality. Armor for unusual creatures. Armor and shields for unusually big creatures, unusually little creatures, and non-humanoid creatures have different costs and weights from those given on table 6.5. Armor and shields. Refer to the appropriate line on the table 6.6 and apply the multipliers to cost and weight for the armor type in question. The non-humanoid category listed on the chart offers the rules needed to craft barding for monstrous and mundane mounts alike. Getting into and out of armor. The time required to don armor depends on its type. See table 6.7 donning armor. Don. This column tells how long it takes a character to put the armor on. 1 minute is 10 rounds. Readying. Strapping on a shield is only a move action. done hastily. This column tells how long it takes to put the armor on in a hurry. The armor check penalty and armor bonus for hastily donned armor are each 1 point worse than normal. Remove. This column tells how long it takes to get the armor off. Losing a shield, removing it from the arm and dropping it, is only a move action. Loosing. Loosing a shield is a move action. Aha. Right. Page 154 in equipment. There's a big old table of goods and services. Table 6.8, goods and services. Adventuring gear. An item, its cost, and its weight. Adventuring gear item. Backpack. Empty. Cost is 2 gold pieces. Weight is 2 pounds. Barrel. Empty. Cost 2 gold pieces. Weight 30 pounds. Basket. Empty. Cost is 4 silver pieces. And weight is 1 pound. Bedroll. 1 silver piece. Weight is 5 pounds. Bell. 1 gold piece. And it doesn't weigh anything. Blanket. Winter. Cost is 5 silver pieces and the weight is 3 pounds. And it has a little 1 by it. Oh, goodness. Goes on for a couple of pages. 1. These items weigh 1/4 this amount when made for small characters. Containers for small characters also carry 1/4 the normal amount. Block and tackle. 5 gold pieces. Weight 5 pounds. Bottle. Wine. Glass. Cost 2 gold pieces and it doesn't weigh much. So I guess if something weighs less than a pound, you're not going to have it in here. Although here's a half a pound for a map or scroll case. It says half a pound. I guess if it weighs less than half a pound, it won't have it. Glass wine bottle doesn't weigh half a pound. Bucket empty, 5 silver pieces, 2 pounds. Caltrops, 1 gold piece, 2 pounds. Dang, how many caltrops are those? Candle, 1 copper piece, weighs nothing. Less than half a pound. Canvas, square yard, 1 silver piece, weight 1 pound. Case, map or scroll, 1 gold piece, half a pound. Chain, 10 foot, 30 gold pieces, weight 2 pounds. Chalk, 1 piece, 1 copper piece, and it doesn't weigh anything. Chalk is very light. Chest, empty, 2 gold pieces, weight 25 pounds. Crowbar, 2 gold pieces, weight 5 pounds. Firewood per day, 1 copper piece, weight 20 pounds. Fish hook, 1 silver piece, doesn't weigh anything. Fishing net, 25 square foot, 4 gold pieces, weighs 5 pounds. Flask, empty, 3 copper pieces, it weighs 1.5 pounds. Flint and steel, 1 gold piece, doesn't weigh anything. Like I said, less than half a pound. Grappling hook, 1 gold piece, weighs 4 pounds. Hammer, 5 silver pieces, weighs 2 pounds. Ink, 1 ounce vial, costs 8 gold pieces, weighs nothing. Ink pen, 1 silver piece, weighs nothing. Jug, clay, 3 copper pieces, weighs 9 pounds. Ladder, 10 foot, 5 copper pieces. I think that's a bit light, a bit cheap for a 10-foot ladder. And weighs 20 pounds. I'm sorry, but that is cheap for a ladder. Lamp, common, 1 silver piece, weighs 1 pound. Lantern, bullseye, 12 gold pieces, weighs 3 pounds. Lantern, hooded, 7 gold pieces, weighs 2 pounds. Lock, doesn't have a price, weighs 1 pound. It's literally blank right here for the price. Instead of there being a line through it, usually there's a line through it. There's nothing here. Oh, I see why. They have it set up weirdly. So it's very simple. It's 20 gold pieces. Average 40 gold pieces. Good is 80 gold pieces. Amazing is 150 gold pieces. And those are locks. Should have had that like marked better. Then it was subsets. Anyway, it says 1 pound right here for lock, and then down here for all the locks. And then manacles, 15 gold pieces, weighs 2 pounds. Manacles, masterwork, 50 gold pieces, weighs 2 pounds. Mirror, small steel mirror, 10 gold pieces, weighs a half a pound. Oh, yeah, this is probably not going to match up to computer program on a CD that I have. It's 3rd edition. And character creation software brings you through everything as you set up all of your skills, abilities, and everything. It sets you up with equipment. It gives you some gold to spend, or you can choose to click the little button that says buy for free. It just won't cost them any money. You can just choose to click that. Yeah, I found this. Back when I was using it, I copied a bunch of the items onto this card. Let's see. Great sword. Long bows. All weapons. Acid flask. 10 gold pieces. And weighs a pound. Okay. Alchemist fire. 20. Right. Armor spikes. 50. It says antitoxin here. Ever burning torch. Does it have armor spikes anywhere? Alchemist lab. 500 gold pieces. Wow. Food, drink, clothing. Spells. Sailing ships is a 10,000 gold pieces. Oh. Okay. Mountain related gear. Food, drink, and lodging. Artisans' tools. I think I might have mentioned. Oh yeah, here we go. Armor and shields. Let's see. Armor spikes. 50 gold pieces. Yep. All right. So this does line up with that program so far. Oh, a puppy dog wants to be let in. All right. Clock, mirror, mug, tankard, clay, 2 copper pieces, weighs 1 pound. Off is 8 gold pieces. Yep. Mm-hmm. As far as I can tell, it's matching up. This was a program based on 3rd edition, and this guidebook is kind of an offshoot of 3rd edition. Mug, tankard, made of clay, 2 copper pieces, weighs 1 pound. Oil, 1 pint flask, 1 silver piece, weighs 1 pound. Sheet of paper, 4 silver pieces, weighs nothing. Parchment sheet, 2 silver pieces, weighs nothing. Paper costs more than parchment? Okay. And parchment made of leather. Pick, liners, 3 gold pieces, weighs 10 pounds. Pitcher, clay, 2 copper pieces, weighs 5 pounds. Pitten, 1 silver piece, weighs half a pound. Pole, 10 foot, 2 silver pieces, weighs 8 pounds. Iron pot, 5 silver pieces, weighs 10 pounds. Pouch, belt, empty, 1 gold piece, weighs half a pound. Ram, portable, 10 gold pieces, weighs 20 pounds. Rations, trail per day, 5 silver pieces, weighs 1 pound. Trail rations. Elven bread, I guess. Rope. Hempen. 50 feet. 1 gold piece weighs 10 pounds. Is rope on here? This is just what. Get each one of these items and like draw it on a little card. A little Pokemon card. Yeah, pitcher, kitten, pole, pot, couch, ram, rations, rope. Rope, silk, 50 feet, 10 gold pieces, weighs 5 pounds. Sack, empty, 1 silver piece, weighs half a pound. Sealing wax, 1 gold piece, weighs a pound. Sewing needle, 5 silver pieces, weighs nothing. Why would it just be 1 needle? Buy needles, I'll buy a few of them at a time. Signal whistle, 8 silver pieces, weighs nothing. Signet ring, 5 gold pieces, weighs nothing. Sledge, 1 gold piece, weighs 10 pounds. Soap, per pound, 5 silver pieces per 1 pound. So a pound of soap is 5 silver pieces. Spade or shovel, 2 gold pieces, weighs 8 pounds. Spyglass, 1,000 gold pieces, weighs a pound. Tent, 10 gold pieces, weighs 20 pounds. Torch, 1 copper piece, weighs a pound. Vial, ink or potion, 1 gold piece, weighs 1/10 of a pound. And so a vial for ink. They'll list it as 1/10 of a pound. But the sewing needle weighs nothing, the singles weighs nothing. But the vial weighs 1/10 of a pound. See what else? A sheet of paper weighs nothing. Yep. Ink, 1 ounce vial, says 8 gold pieces, and vial, ink or potion, 1 gold piece and 1/10 of a pound. The ink is 8 gold pieces and weighs nothing. I guess that's the ink by itself. So I guess you go to the ink maker. Have you seen those Japanese ink makers? Yeah, that's the cool stuff right there. Found it with their feet and they hang it up to dry and make these big blocks of special calligraphy ink. It's awesome. And I think buying a block of ink like that is probably expensive. That should be listed. That's interesting stuff. So water skin, 1 gold piece, God, 4 pounds. That's quite pricey for a water skin. Crap, I can get one for a few bucks. Whetstone, 2 copper pieces, weighs a pound. I think there should be just like a few silver pieces for maybe 5 silver pieces for a cheap water skin and 1 gold piece for a really nice one. How about that? Special substances and items. Item, acid flask, 10 gold pieces, weighs a pound. Alchemist fire in a flask, costs 20 gold pieces and weighs a pound. Antitoxin vial, 50 gold pieces and weighs nothing. Wow. An ever burning torch, 110 gold pieces, weighs a pound. Holy water in a flask, costs 25 gold pieces and weighs a pound. Smoke stick. The hell's a smoke stick? Weighs 20 gold. Costs 20 gold pieces and weighs half a pound. Sun rod. Costs 2 gold pieces and weighs 1 pound. Tanglefoot bag. Costs 50 gold pieces and weighs 4 pounds. Thunderstone. Costs 30 gold pieces and weighs a pound. Tinder twig. I guess that's some kind of kindling. Costs 1 gold piece, weighs nothing. Tools and skill kits. Item. Alchemist lab. Costs 500 gold pieces. Weight 40 pounds. Artisan's tools. Costs 5 gold pieces. Weighs 5 pounds. Artisan's tools masterwork. 55 gold pieces and weighs 5 pounds. Climber's kit. 80 gold pieces, 5 pounds. Disguise kit. 50 gold pieces, 8 pounds. Healer's kit. Costs 50 gold pieces, 1 pound. Holly and mistletoe. Holy symbol, wooden, 1 gold piece. Holy symbol, silver, 25 gold pieces, weighs a pound. Hourglass, 25 gold pieces, weighs a pound. Magnifying glass, 100 gold pieces. My goodness, that's an expensive magnifying glass, yeah. I think you could get that cheap. Like 50. Musical instrument, common, 5 gold pieces, 3 pounds. Musical instrument masterwork, 100 gold pieces, still 3 pounds. Scale, merchants, 2 gold pieces, weighs a pound. Spell component pouch, 5 gold pieces, weighs 2 pounds. Spellbook, wizards, blank, 15 gold pieces, weighs 3 pounds. Thieves' tools, 30 gold pieces, weighs a pound. Masterwork thieves' tools, 100 gold pieces, weighs 2 pounds. Masterwork tools, 50 gold pieces, weighs a pound. Water clock, 1,000 gold pieces, 200 pounds. My goodness, a water clock. That must be some kind of thing. It weighs 200 pounds. Oh. Oh. Oh, yeah. Clothing item. Artisan's outfit costs 1 gold piece, weighs 4 pounds. Cleric's vestments cost 5 gold pieces, weighs 6 pounds. Cold weather outfit, 8 gold pieces, 7 pounds. Courtier's outfit, 30 gold pieces, 6 pounds. Entertainer's outfit, 3 gold pieces, 4 pounds. Explorer's outfit, 10 gold pieces, weighs 8 pounds. Monk's outfit, 5 gold pieces, weighs 2 pounds. Noble's outfit, 75 gold pieces, weighs 10 pounds. Peasant's outfit, 1 silver piece, weighs 2 pounds. Royal outfit, 200 gold pieces, weighs 15 pounds. Scholar's outfit, 5 gold pieces, 6 pounds. And traveler's outfit, 1 gold piece, 5 pounds. And I'm imagining like getting some cellophane or plastic of some kind, see through something. Maybe even just tracing paper and drawing each one of these on there. And then you can just like put it over your card for your character. It would have to be, nice size. So it wouldn't be like little bitty bitty. Although I could draw a little bitty bitty. Couldn't get detail on that. I mean, not much. I can get a little bit. But I can get a small piece of paper. bunch of these. And I'm going to draw the tools on here. Have this. Shuffle through them and be like, oh, I've got this tool. Use this. I'll equip that, then use it. But as for the outfits, we'll draw like a character, but a piece of paper, yay big. Probably, O scale. Maybe 3/4. One foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 5 foot. Yeah, if you drew it at 3/4 scale, then the card would be about yay big. And if you drew it at 1/4 scale, the card would be about yay big. A business card size. And these come with Reese's peanut butter cups. Get a whole bunch of these because I bought a ton of Reese's peanut butter cups. 1/4 scale. This is 6 foot. And 3/4 scale. It's just under 3 foot. That's a little 3-inch tall doll. So, yeah. O gauge seems to be. I draw it at that. This one is 3/16. That's right here. And it has this is like 12 feet. The card is equivalent to 12 feet. 3/16. Saying if I drew it a little bit bigger, I get a little more detail. I think, yeah, 1/4 would cut it. 1/4 would be good. But, the card is 8 feet on that scale, not 12 feet. Food, drink, and lodging. Item: ale. Cost, weight. A gallon is 2 silver pieces and weighs 8 pounds. A mug is 4 copper pieces and weighs a pound. So that's ale, a gallon, on a mug. At least this time it still needs to have like dots or something. Show that it's subsection. Banquet per person, 10 gold pieces. Bread per loaf, 2 copper pieces, weighs half a pound. Hunk of cheese, 1 silver piece, weighs half a pound. So yeah, nice 8-ounce block of cheese. 1 silver piece. In stay per day. Good in is 2 gold pieces. Common in is 5 silver pieces, and a poor in is 2 silver pieces. Meals per day. A good meal, 5 silver pieces. Common meal is 3 silver pieces, and a poor meal is 1 silver piece. And a chunk of meat is 3 silver pieces and weighs half a pound. Wine, common, pitcher, 2 silver pieces, weighs 6 pounds. Bottle of fine wine is 10 gold pieces and weighs a pound and a half. Mounts and related gear. Item, barding, medium creature, times 2, times 1. Large creature, times 4, times 2. Bit and bridle, 2 gold pieces, 1 pound. The barding doesn't have a cost and a weight, so this medium and large times 2 and times 4, just like no reference point. It's silly. Bit and bridle, 2 gold pieces, weighs a pound. Dog, guard, 25 gold pieces. Mounts and related gear. Guard dog, 25 gold pieces. It doesn't have a weight listed. Neither does riding dog. 150 gold pieces, no weight listed. But it's not that they don't weigh anything. Donkey or mule, 8 gold pieces. No weight listed. The authors didn't want to look up how much dogs and donkeys weigh, I guess. Feed per day, 5 copper pieces and weighs 10 pounds. Also, some of the other weights and well, not so much the weight, but the price. It's kind of outrageous. Like water skins way too much. Cost too much. And it could be good and common and poor. Like most of the things it should be. Horse, heavy horse, 200 gold pieces. They didn't look up a bunch of ways. Light horse, 75 gold pieces. Pony, 30 gold pieces. Heavy war horse, 400 gold pieces. Light war horse, 150 gold pieces. War pony, 100 gold pieces. Saddles, military, 20 gold pieces, weighs 30 pounds. Pack. It says pack saddle, like this. 5 gold pieces, weighs 15 pounds. Riding saddle, 10 gold pieces, 25 pounds. Exotic saddle, military, 60 gold pieces, weighs 40 pounds. Pack, 15 gold pieces, 20 pounds. Riding, 30 gold pieces, 30 pounds. Saddle bags, 4 gold pieces, 8 pounds. Stabling per day, 5 silver pieces. Transport, item, cost, weight. Carriage, 100 gold pieces, weight 600 pounds. Why does it list the weight of a carriage and not of a horse? Horses weigh like 1,000 pounds. Cart, 15 gold pieces, 200 pounds. Galley, 30,000 gold pieces. No weight listed. Keelboat, 3,000 gold pieces. Longship, 10,000 gold pieces. Rowboat, 50 gold pieces, 100 pounds. An oar, 2 gold pieces, 10 pounds. Nice heavy oar. Sailing ship, 10,000 gold pieces. Sled, 20 gold pieces, weighs 300 pounds. Wagon, 35 gold pieces, weighs 400 pounds. Warship, 25,000 gold pieces. Make cards for all those, would be nice. That's the kind of thing, though, I can find miniatures of. In fact, I've got miniatures of a few of those. Yeah, we got full-size miniature ships in here. There's one up there. There's the Infernal Flame flying ship. Spellcasting and services. Service coach cab, 3 copper pieces per mile. Hireling trained, 3 silver pieces per day. Hireling untrained, 1 silver piece per day. Messenger, 2 copper pieces per mile. Road or gate toll, 1 copper piece. Ship passage, 1 silver piece per. This is mile, but wouldn't that be nautical mile? Spell, 0 level. Caster, level times 5 gold pieces with a little number 2. See spell description for additional costs. If the additional cost with the spell's total cost above 3,000 gold pieces, that spell is not generally available. Spell first level, cast level times 10 gold pieces. Spell second level, cast level times 20 gold pieces. Spell third level, cast level times 30 gold pieces. Fourth level, cast level times 40 gold pieces. Fifth level times 50. Sixth level 60. Seventh level 70. Eighth level 80. Ninth level 90. No weight or no weight worth noting. I mean, you could have listed the weight of the war horses. A couple 1,000 pounds in it. Heavy war horse wouldn't that weigh a lot? 1,000 or so pounds. Or they bother looking up how much they weigh. Adventuring gear and other goods. Several of the items listed on the above tables are described below, along with any special benefits they confer on the user. Caltrops. Okay, cool. It'll now describe all the things. A caltrop is a 4-pronged iron spike crafted so that one prong faces up no matter how the caltrop comes to rest. You scatter caltrops on the ground in the hope that your enemies step on them or are at least forced to slow down to avoid them. 1 2-pound bag of caltrops covers an area 5 feet square. Each time a creature moves into an area covered by caltrops or spins around fighting while standing in such an area, it might step on one. The caltrops make an attack roll, base attack bonus plus 0 against the creature. For this attack, the creature's shield, armor, and deflection bonuses do not count. If the creature is wearing shoes or other footwear, it gets a plus 2 armor bonus to AC. If the caltrops succeed on the attack, the creature has stepped on one. The caltrop deals 1 point of damage, and the creature's speed is reduced by 1/2 because its foot is wounded. This movement penalty lasts for 24 hours, or until the creature is successfully treated with a DC 15 heal check, or until it receives at least 1 point of magical curing. A charging or running creature must immediately stop if it steps on a caltrop. Any creature moving at half speed or slower can pick its way through a bed of caltrops with no trouble. Yeah, if you just slide your foot like that, you can kick them aside. Then you'd have to slow down and do that. Caltrops may not be effective against unusual opponents. And they'd have to have pretty big spikes to go through some shoes. But yeah, if you get a big enough nail and bend it up, yeah, I mean, a couple of nails, actually. It'd be 2 nails welded together and bent up so that it's a nice big spiky nail going through your foot. And a whole big bag of them. Candle. A candle dimly illuminates a 5-foot radius and burns for 1 hour. Chain. Chains are assumed to be made of iron. Then they should specify iron chain or other metals, bronze. But yes, this is after the Iron Age. Have a hardness of 10 and possess 5 hit points. They can be burst with a DC. Damage. And they can be burst with a DC 26 strength check. Stronger chains may exist at a higher cost at the games master's discretion. Crowbar. A crowbar, also presumably made of iron or steel, grants a +2 circumstance bonus to strength checks when used for appropriate purposes. If used in combat, treat a crowbar as a one-handed improvised weapon that deals bludgeoning damage equal to that of a club of its size. Flint and steel. Lighting a torch with flint and steel is a full round action, and lighting any other fire with them takes at least that long. Full round action. Grappling hook. Throwing a grappling hook successfully requires a use rope check. DC 10 +2 per 10 feet of distance thrown. Hammer. If a hammer is used in combat, treat it as a one-handed improvised weapon that deals bludgeoning damage equal to that of a spike gauntlet of its size. Ink. This category of item describes basic, coal-derived black ink. You can buy ink in other colors, but it costs twice as much. Certain special colors, violet, bright red, etc., may be as much as 3 or 4 times the listed price, depending on the rarity of the plants and minerals used to make them. And it just stops there. It doesn't describe how the ink is, like if it's liquid or if it's that block stuff. Jug, clay. This basic ceramic jug is fitted with a stopper and holds 1 gallon of liquid. Lamp, common. I just imagine one of those moonshine jugs. Lamp, common. A lamp clearly illuminates a 15-foot radius, provides shadowy illumination out to a 30-foot radius, and burns for 6 hours on a pint of oil. You can carry a lamp in one hand. Lantern, bullseye. A bullseye lantern provides clear illumination in a 60-foot cone and shadowy illumination in a 120-foot cone. It burns for 6 hours on a pint of oil. You can carry a bullseye lantern in one hand. Lantern, hooded. A hooded lantern clearly illuminates a 30-foot radius and provides shadow illumination in a 60-foot radius. So common lamp is 15 foot. Hooded lamp is 30 foot. Shadow illumination at 30 foot, 60 foot. It burns for 60 hours on a pint of oil. You can carry a hooded lantern in one hand. Lock. The DC to open a lock with the open lock skill depends on the lock's quality. Simple, DC 20, average, DC 25, good, DC 30, or superior, DC 40. Manacles and masterwork manacles. Manacles can bind a medium creature. A manacled creature can use the escape artist skill to slip free, DC 30 or DC 35 for masterwork manacles. Breaking the manacles requires a strength check, DC 26 or DC 28 for masterwork. Manacles have hardness 10 and 10 hit points. Most manacles have locks. Add the cost of the lock you want to the cost of the manacles. For the same cost, you can buy manacles for a small creature. For a large creature, manacles cost 10 times the indicated amount, and for a huge creature, 100 times this amount. Gargantuan, colossal, tiny, diminutive, and fine creatures can be held only by specially made manacles. You're going to have to walk around with the proper manacles if you want to lock up things. Oil. A pint of oil burns for 6 hours in a lantern. You can use a flask of oil as a splash weapon. Use the rules for alchemist fire, except that it takes a full round action to prepare a flask with a fuse. Once it is thrown, there is a 50% chance of the flask igniting successfully. You can pour a pint of oil on the ground to cover an area 5 feet square, provided that the surface is smooth. If lit, the oil burns for 2 rounds and deals 1d3 points of fire damage to each creature in the area. Ram, portable. This iron-shod wooden beam gives you a +2 circumstance bonus on strength checks made to break open a door, and it allows a second person to help you without having to roll, increasing your bonus by 2. Rope. Hemp. This rope has 2 hit points and can be burst with a DC 23 strength check. Doesn't have any more description than that. Silk rope. This rope has 4 hit points and can be burst with a DC 24 strength check. It is so supple that it provides a +2 circumstance bonus on use rope checks. Silk rope. Spyglass. Objects viewed through a spyglass are magnified to twice their size. That's all it says. Torch. A torch burns for 1 hour, clearly illuminating a 20-foot radius and providing shadowy illumination up to a 40-foot radius. If a torch is used in combat, treat it as a one-handed improvised weapon that deals bludgeoning damage, equal to that of a gauntlet of its size, plus 1 point of fire damage. Vial. A vial holds 1 ounce of liquid. The stoppered container usually is no more than 1 inch wide and 3 inches high. I think I have a whiskey bottle that size. special substances and items. Any of these substances, except for the ever-burning torch and holy water, can be made by a character with the craft alchemy skill. A games master may restrict access to these items and deny starting characters the option of purchasing them with starting funds. Yeah, but that's no fun. Acid. You can throw a flask of acid as a splash weapon. Treat this attack as a ranged touch attack with a ranged increment of 10 feet. A direct hit deals 1d6 points of acid damage. Each creature within 5 feet of the point where the acid hits takes 1 point of acid damage from the splash. Alchemist's Fire. You can throw a flask of Alchemist's Fire as a splash weapon. Treat this attack as a ranged touch attack with a range increment of 10 feet. A direct hit deals 1d6 points of fire damage. Each creature within 5 feet of the point where the flask hits takes 1 point of fire damage from the splash. On the round following a direct hit, the target takes an additional 1d6 points of damage. If desired, the target can use a full round action to attempt to extinguish the flames before taking this additional damage. Extinguishing the flames requires a DC 15 reflex save. Rolling on the ground provides the target a +2 bonus on the save. Leaping into a lake or magically extinguishing the flames automatically smothers the fire. Leaping into a lake. Antitoxin. If you drink antitoxin, you get a +5 alchemical bonus on fortitude saving throws against poison for 1 hour. Ever-burning torch. This otherwise normal torch has a continual flame spell cast upon it. An ever-burning torch clearly illuminates a 20-foot radius and provides shadow illumination out to a 40-foot radius. Holy water damages undead creatures and evil outsiders almost as if it were acid. A flask of holy water can be thrown in a splash weapon. Treat this attack as a ranged touch attack with a range increment of 10 feet. A flask breaks if thrown against the body of a corporeal creature, but to use it against an incorporeal creature, you must open the flask and pour the holy water out onto the target. Thus, you can douse an incorporeal creature with holy water only if you are adjacent to it. Doing so is a ranged touch attack that does not provoke attacks of opportunity. A direct hit by a flask of holy water deals 2d4 points of damage to an undead creature or an evil outsider. Each such creature within 5 feet of the point where the flask hits takes 1 point of damage from the splash. Temples to good deities sell holy water at cost. Smoke stick. This alchemically treated wooden stick instantly creates thick, opaque smoke when ignited. The smoke fills a 10-foot cube. Treat the effect as a fog cloud spell, except that a moderate or stronger wind dissipates the smoke in 1 round. The stick is consumed after 1 round and the smoke dissipates naturally. Sun rod. This 1-foot-long, gold-tipped iron rod glows brightly when struck. It clearly illuminates a 30-foot radius and provides shadow illumination at a 60-foot radius. It glows for 6 hours, after which the gold tip is burned out and worthless. Okay. Tanglefoot bag. When you throw a tanglefoot bag at a creature as a ranged touch attack with a range increment of 10 feet, the bag comes apart and the goo bursts out, entangling the target and then becoming tough and resilient upon exposure to air. An entangled creature takes a -2 penalty on attack rolls and a -4 penalty to dexterity and must make a DC 15 reflex save or be glued to the floor, unable to move. Even on a successful save, it can move only at half speed. Huge or larger creatures are unaffected by a tanglefoot bag. A flying creature is not stuck to the floor, but it must make a DC 15 reflex save or be unable to fly, assuming it uses wings to fly, and fall to the ground. A tanglefoot bag does not function underwater. A creature that is glued to the floor or unable to fly can break free by making a DC 17 strength check or by dealing 15 points of damage to the goo with a slashing weapon. A creature trying to scrape goo off itself or another creature assisting does not need to make an attack roll. Hitting the goo is automatic, after which the creature that hit makes a damage roll to see how much of the goo was scraped off. Once freed, a creature can move, including flying, at half speed. A character capable of spellcasting who is bound by the goo must make a DC 15 concentration check to cast a spell. The goo becomes brittle and fragile after 2d4 rounds, cracking apart and losing its effectiveness. An application of universal solvent to a stuck creature dissolves the alchemical goo immediately. Thunderstone. You can throw this stone as a ranged attack with a range increment of 20 feet. When it strikes a hard surface or is struck soundly by a hard object or any attack capable of doing lethal damage, it creates a deafening bang that is treated as a sonic attack. Each creature within a 10-foot radius spread must make a DC 15 fortitude save or be deafened for 1 hour. A deafened creature, in addition to the obvious effects, takes a -4 penalty on initiative and has a 20% chance of miscast and lose any spell with a verbal component that it tries to cast. Since you don't need to hit a specific target, you can simply aim at a particular 5-foot square. Treat the target square as AC 5. Tinder twig. The alchemical substance on the end of this small wooden stick ignites when struck against a rough surface, creating a flame. With a tinder twig is much faster than creating a flame with flint and steel or a magnifying glass and tinder. Lighting a torch with a tinder twig is a standard action rather than a full round action, and lighting any other fire with one is at least a standard action. Tools and skill kits. These items are used in conjunction with class abilities and skills. In many cases, not having an appropriate item can prevent a character for attempting a given skill. I should say from. Typo. Attempting a given skill or impose a serious penalty. Conversely, particularly well-crafted tools and skill kits can provide their own form of bonus to skill checks, as they are specifically designed to perform their given task more efficiently and enhance the skills of their users significantly. Alchemist's Lab. An alchemist's lab always has the perfect tool for making alchemical items, so it provides a +2 circumstance bonus on craft alchemy checks. It has no bearing on the cost related to the craft alchemy skill. Without this lab, a character with the craft alchemy skill is assumed to have enough tools to use the skill, but not enough to get the +2 bonus that the lab provides. Artisan's tools. These special tools include the items needed to pursue any craft. Without them, you have to use improvised tools. -2 penalty on craft checks if you can do the job at all. Artisan's tools, masterwork. These tools serve the same purpose as artisan's tools above, but masterwork artisan's tools are the perfect tools for the job, so you get a +2 circumstance bonus on craft checks made with them. I want to do a bunch of that. I want to make some characters who do some crafting. Gameplay will just be them doing some crafting. could do that solo, and then I'll have all these little figures or drawings. We do some drawings first, and then sculpt the characters, or go find some miniatures, paint some miniatures. Yeah, and definitely draw some of these tools and like have them be creating stuff and like set up a little shop. Yeah, just build like a little shop. That'd be cool. You could build an alchemist shop anyway. Climber's kit. Consisting of pittons, clamps, special pulleys, and other specialized gear, this is the perfect set of tools for climbing and gives you a +2 bonus circumstance on climb checks. +2 circumstance bonus on climb checks. Disguise kit. This kit contains makeup, wigs, and special clothing items, making it the perfect tool for disguise and provides a +2 circumstance bonus on disguise checks. A disguise kit is exhausted after 10 uses. Guess you gotta get a new one at that point. Healer's kit. With specific kinds of bandages, tailored medicines for various types of ailment, and several specialized surgical items, this effective healing kit provides a +2 circumstance bonus on heal checks. A healer's kit is exhausted after 10 uses. Holy symbol, silver or wooden. A holy symbol focuses positive energy. A cleric or paladin uses it as a focus for his spells and as a tool for turning undead. Each religion has its own holy symbol. Unholy symbols. An unholy symbol is like a holy symbol, except that it focuses negative energy and is used by evil clerics or by neutral clerics who want to cast evil spells or command undead. Magnifying glass. This simple lens allows a closer look at small objects. It is also useful as a substitute for flint and steel when starting fires. Lighting a fire with a magnifying glass requires light as bright as sunlight to focus, tinder to ignite, and at least a full round action. I've done it. I've lit fires with magnifying glass. A magnifying glass grants a +2 circumstance bonus on appraised checks involving any item that is small or highly detailed. Musical instrument, common or masterwork. A masterwork instrument grants a +2 bonus circumstance bonus. A masterwork instrument grants a +2 circumstance bonus on perform checks involving its use. Perform checks. Merchant scale. A scale grants a +2 circumstance bonus on appraised checks involving items that are valued by weight, including anything made of precious metals. Spell component pouch. A spellcaster with a spell component pouch is assumed to have all the material components and focuses needed for spell casting, except for those components that have a specific cost. Divine focuses and focuses that wouldn't fit in a pouch. Spellbook, Wizard's Blank. A spellbook has 100 pages of parchment, and each spell takes up 1 page per spell level, 1 page each for 0 level spells. Thieves' Tools. This kit contains the tools you need to use the disable device and open lock skills. Without these tools, you must improvise tools, and you take a -2 circumstance penalty on disable device and open locks checks. Masterwork Thieves' Tools. This set of thieves' paraphernalia contained extra tools and items of better make, which grant a +2 circumstance bonus on disable device and open lock checks. Okay. Masterwork Tool. This well-made item is the perfect tool for the job. Okay. It grants a +2 circumstance bonus on a related skill check, if any. Bonuses provided by multiple masterwork items used toward the same skill check do not stack. Those circumstance bonuses granted from other sources do. Okay. Masterwork Tool is the perfect tool for the job. Uh-huh. I guess this is what it looks like. Water clock. This large, bulky contrivance gives the time accurate to within half an hour per day since it was last set. It requires a source of water, and it must be kept still because it marks time by the regulated flow of droplets of water. Yeah, you'd have to build one in some kind of public place, inside of a special building. Keep it safe. Clothing items. Artisan's outfit. This outfit includes a shirt with buttons, a skirt or pants with drawstring, shoes, and perhaps a cap or hat. It may also include a belt or leather or cloth apron for carrying tools. Cleric's vestments. These ecclesiastical clothes are for performing priestly functions, not for adventuring. Cold weather outfit. A cold weather outfit includes a wool coat, linen shirt, wool cap, heavy cloak, thick pants or skirt, and boots. This outfit grants a +5 circumstance bonus on fortitude saving throws against exposure to cold weather. Courtier's outfit. This outfit includes fancy, tailored clothes in whatever fashion happens to be the current style in the courts of the nobles. Anyone trying to influence nobles or courtiers while wearing street dress will have a difficult time doing so. Just translate to a -2 penalty on charisma-based skill checks to influence such individuals. If you wear this outfit without jewelry, costing an additional 50 gold pieces, you look like an out-of-place commoner. We got a book on the Medicis here. Entertainer's outfit. This set of flashy, perhaps even gaudy clothes is for entertaining. Think jester's outfit. While the outfit looks whimsical, its practical design lets you tumble, dance, walk a tightrope, or just run if the audience turns ugly. Yeah. I seen a video earlier of jugglers, fire jugglers. She was wearing practically a bikini. Explorer's outfit. This is a full set of clothes for someone who never knows what to expect. It includes sturdy boots, leather breeches or a skirt, a belt, a shirt, perhaps a vest or jacket, gloves, and a cloak. Rather than a leather skirt, a leather overtunic may be worn over a cloth skirt. The clothes have plenty of pockets, especially the cloak. The outfit also includes any extra items you might need, such as a scarf or a wide-brimmed hat. I'd like to draw that. Maybe even make one that's to put on a doll. Would be neat. It would be good to make one. Monk's outfit. This simple outfit includes sandals, loose breeches, and a loose skirt, and is all bound together with sashes. The outfit is designed to give you maximum mobility and is made of high quality fabric. You can hide small weapons in pockets hidden in the folds, and the sashes are strong enough to serve as short ropes. And you can making a large size, like your size explorer's outfit, would certainly be fun. And I already kind of wear some of that anyway. Noble's outfit. This set of clothes is designed specifically to be expensive and to show it. Precious metals and gems are worked into the clothing. To fit into the noble crowd, every would-be noble also needs a signet ring, see adventuring gear above, and jewelry worth at least 100 gold pieces. Peasant's outfit. This set of clothes consists of a loose shirt and baggy breeches, or a loose shirt and skirt or overdress. Cloth wrappings are used for shoes. Royal outfit. This is just the clothing, not the royal scepter, crown, ring, and other accoutrements. Royal clothes are still very regal and ostentatious, often adorned with gems, gold, silk, and fur in abundance. Scholar's outfit. Perfect for a scholar or other learned figure, such as a court vizier, who would seem out of place dressed like other courtiers. This outfit includes a robe, a belt, a cap, soft shoes, and possibly a cloak. Traveler's outfit. This set of clothes consists of boots, a wool skirt or breeches, a sturdy belt, a shirt, perhaps a vest or jacket, and an ample cloak with a hood. See the History Channel. Food, drink, and lodging. Inn. Poor accommodations at an inn amount to a place on the floor near the hearth. Common accommodations consist of a place on a raised, heated floor, the use of a blanket and a pillow. Good accommodations consist of a small private room with one bed, some amenities, and a cupboard chamber pot in the corner. Meals. Poor meals might be composed of bread, baked turnips, onions, and water. Common meals might consist of bread, chicken stew, carrots, and watered down ale or wine. Good meals might be composed of bread and pastries, beef, peas, and ale or wine. Mounts and related gear. Barding, medium creature, and large creature. Barding is a type of armor that covers the head, neck, chest, body, and possibly legs of a horse or other mount. Barding made of medium or heavy armor provides better protection than light barding, but at the expense of speed. Barding can be made of any of the armor types found on table armor and shields. Armor for a horse, a large non-humanoid creature, costs 4 times as much as armor for a human. A medium humanoid creature also weighs twice as much as the armor found on table armor and shields. See armor for unusual creatures. I already read that out. If the barding is for a pony or other medium mount, the cost is only double, and the weight is the same as for medium armor worn by a humanoid. I already read out that table. Medium or heavy barding slows a mount that wears it, as shown on the table below. Flying mounts cannot fly in medium or heavy barding. Barding 40 feet, 50 feet, 60 feet, base speed. Medium 30 feet, 35 feet, 40 feet. Heavy 30 feet, 35 feet, 40 feet. A mount wearing heavy armor moves at only triple its normal speed when running instead of quadruple. Removing and fitting barding takes 5 times as long as the figures given on table donning armor. A barded animal cannot be used to carry any load other than the rider and normal saddlebags. Dog. Riding. This medium dog is specially trained to carry a small humanoid rider. It is brave in combat like a warhorse. You take no damage when you fall from a riding dog. Donkey or mule. Donkeys and mules are stolid in the face of danger, hardy, sure-footed, and capable of carrying heavy loads over vast distances. Unlike a horse, a donkey or mule is willing, though not eager, to enter dungeons and other strange or threatening places. Feed. Horses, donkeys, mules, and ponies can graze to sustain themselves, but providing feed for them is much better. If a character has a riding dog, it must be fed some meat as part of its daily diet. Horse. A horse, or other than a pony, is suitable as a mount for a human, dwarf, elf, half-elf, or half-orc. A pony is smaller than a horse and a suitable mount for a gnome or halfling. War horses and war ponies can be ridden easily into combat. Light horses, ponies, and heavy horses are hard to control in combat. Saddle. Exotic. An exotic saddle is like a normal saddle of the same sort, except that it is designed for an unusual mount. Exotic saddles come in military, pack, and riding styles. Dinosaur saddle? Military saddle. A military saddle braces the rider, providing a +2 circumstance bonus on ride checks related to staying in the saddle. If you're knocked unconscious while in a military saddle, you have a 75% chance to stay in the saddle. compared to 50% chance for a riding saddle. Pack saddle holds a gear and supplies, but not a rider. It holds as much gear as the mount can carry. Riding saddle. The standard riding saddle supports a rider. Transport. Carriage. This four-wheeled vehicle can transport as many as 4 people within an enclosed cab plus 2 drivers. In general, 2 horses or other beasts of burden drive. A carriage comes with the harness needed to pull it. It doesn't mention rickshaws. We need to add rickshaws. Cart. This 2-wheeled vehicle can be drawn by a single horse or other beast of burden. It comes with a harness. Galley. This 3-masted ship has 70 oars on either side and requires a total crew of 200. A galley is 130 feet long and 20 feet wide, and it can carry 150 tons of cargo or 250 soldiers. For 8,000 gold pieces more, it can be fitted with a ram and castles with firing platforms afore, aft, and amidships. This ship cannot make sea voyages and sticks to the coast. It moves about 4 miles per hour when being rowed or under sail. It should be knots. It moves at knots, not miles. Anyway, keelboat. This 50 to 75 foot long ship is 15 to 20 feet wide and has a few oars to supplement its single mast with a square sail. It has a crew of 8 to 15 and can carry 40 to 50 tons of cargo or 100 soldiers. It can make sea voyages as well as sail down rivers thanks to its flat bottom. It moves about 1 mile per hour. That's knots. Keelboat. The keelboat has a flat bottom. Longship. This 75-foot long ship with 40 oars requires a total crew of 50. It has a single mast and a square sail, and it can carry 50 tons of cargo or 120 soldiers. A long ship can make sea voyages and moves about 3 miles per hour when being rowed or under sail. Damn dog. Snoring dog. Rowboat. This 8 to 12 foot long boat holds 2 or 3 medium passengers. It moves about 1 to 1.5 miles per hour. Knots. Sailing ship. This larger seaworthy ship is 75 to 90 feet long and 20 feet wide and has a crew of 20. It can carry 150 tons of cargo. It has square sails on its 2 masts and can make sea voyages. It moves about 2 miles per hour. Sled. This is a wagon on runners for moving through snow and over ice. In general, 2 horses or other beasts of burden draw it, like a dog sled. I should add things for a dog sled. A sled comes with the harness needed to pull it. It's like a sleigh if it's horse-drawn. It's a sled if it's dog-drawn. Wagon. This is a 4-wheeled open vehicle for transporting heavy loads. In general, 2 horses or other beasts of burden draw it. A wagon comes with the harnesses needed to pull it. Warship. This 100-foot long ship has a single mast, although oars can also propel it. It has a crew of 60 to 80 rowers. This ship can carry 160 soldiers, but not for long distances since there isn't room for supplies to support that many people. The warship cannot make sea voyages and sticks to the coast. It is not used for cargo. It moves at about 2.5 miles per hour when being rowed or under sail. I have here a book on pirates. It's really a book on pirates. It's a very nice book, a very well made book. There's historical pirates in it. It also has information on ships. I write my own little set. This is going to be the basis for that. Spellcasting and other services. Sometimes the best solution for a problem is to hire someone else to take care of it. This category includes hiring spellcasters to use the magical arts on a character's behalf. Such an undertaking is understandably very expensive. Coach cab. The price given is for a ride in a coach to transport people and light cargo between towns. It's good to have, as a DM, usually like yes, in this town there's a coach cab. For a ride in a cab that transports passengers within a city, 1 copper piece usually takes you anywhere you need to go. Trained hireling. The amount given is a typical daily wage for mercenary warriors, masons, craftsmen, scribes, teamsters, and other trained hirelings. This value represents a minimum wage. Many such hirelings require significantly higher pay. So, warriors, masons, craftsmen, scribes, teamsters, and other trained hirelings. So your character can hire a mercenary warrior to guard you, or a mason to build something, craftsman to make some furniture, a scribe to follow you around and write things down, or you go to the scribe's place and have them write things down. Yeah, like writing on the go is hard. Like obviously you'd go to the monastery and have the scribes do that. Teamsters, isn't that what you call truckers? Anyway. Untrained hireling. The amount shown is for the typical daily wage for laborers, porters, cooks, maids, and other menial workers. Yep. Messenger. This entry includes horse-riding messengers and runners. Those willing to carry a message to a place they were going anyway may ask for only half the indicated amount. Road or gate toll. A toll is sometimes charged to cross a well-trodden, well-kept, and well-guarded road to pay for patrols on it and for its upkeep. Occasionally, a large walled city charges a toll to enter or exit, or sometimes just to enter. Ship's passage. Most ships do not specialize in passengers, but many have the capacity to take a few along when transporting cargo. Double the given cost for creatures larger than medium or creatures that are otherwise difficult to bring aboard a ship. Spell. Okay. And page 166 is where equipment ends, and 167 is where D20 combat begins. And we'll pick that one up next time. So let's finish off with the indicated amount is how much it costs to get a spellcaster to cast a spell for you. This cost assumes that you can go to the spellcaster and have the spell cast at his or her convenience, generally at least 24 hours later, so that the spellcaster has time to prepare the spell in question. If you want to bring the spellcaster somewhere to cast a spell, you need to negotiate with him or her, and most spellcasters are unwilling to travel without a generous inducement. I'd love to work up how you might negotiate this with your DM. I'd love to write a little story about this one. The cost given is for a spell with no cost for a material component or focus component, and no XP cost. If the spell includes a material component, add the cost of that component to the cost of the spell. If the spell has a focus component other than a divine focus, add 1/10 the cost of that focus to the cost of the spell. If the spell has an XP cost, add 5 gold pieces per XP lost. Furthermore, if a spell has a dangerous consequences, the spellcaster will certainly require proof that you can and will pay for dealing with any such consequences. That is, assuming that the spellcaster even agrees to cast such a spell, which is not at all certain. In the case of spells that transport the caster and characters over a distance, you will likely have to pay for 2 castings of the spell, even if you are not returning with the caster. In addition, not every town or village has a spellcaster of sufficient level to cast any spell. Although, writing up a nice big city that has such people you know, make for an interesting game. In general, you must travel to a small town or larger settlement to be reasonably assured of finding a spellcaster capable of casting first-level spells, a large town for second-level spells, a small city for third or fourth-level spells, a large city for fifth or sixth-level spells, and a metropolis for seventh or eighth-level spells. Even a metropolis is not guaranteed to have a local spellcaster able to cast ninth-level spells. There, it is now 7 a.m. And that is equipment in the Mongoose Pocket Player's Handbook. And I noticed it didn't list mistletoe and holly. It listed that in the table, but it didn't have a description. Jug, ladder, lantern, lock. Furnace. Thunderstones. The trigger happy bard's tail has thunderstones in it. Oh yeah, here we go. Holly and mistletoe. It doesn't have anything on that in here. But holly and mistletoe are druid holy things. And that's what I need information on. Okay, well. As for crafting and stuff, there's a whole bunch of instructions for like how you craft things. And so I'd like to do some little like solo gameplay of characters crafting things. That'd be interesting, and then I can say a little bit if I have these things. Anyway, this is Masters of the Wild guidebook for barbarians, druids, and rangers. So she looks like the druid, obviously. He looks like the barbarian. He looks like a half-orc, and he looks like a ranger. This is probably going to have the thing about mistletoe I need to know. What this book is and is not. The barbarian in perspective. The druid in perspective, and the ranger in perspective. Skills and feats. I like the idea of a dwarf druid that is at one with the cave ecosystem. And that, say, a human druid would be at one with, like, an open steppe. Forests, even. Or the elf would be forests. And the human would be the open steppe. Horse companions. The elf would have like more forest thing going on, and the dwarf would be, in the cave, being friends with the bears and the mushrooms. Animals, tools. Here we go. Exotic weapons, optional druids as alchemists. What's an infusion? Creating infusions. Prestige classes. What's druid spells, ranger spells, cleric spells, sorcerer, wizard spells. Table feats. Fusion. Tailored infusions. Exotic weapon master. I have hexer. Yeah, I'd love to write it up where you specialize in a particular environment. Not just all of nature. Open, hilly countryside. Forests would be elves and half elves, and and like wild countryside being half elves and humans, and then caves would be dwarves. I think that makes sense. Hmm. Chance to new additions to D&D. Okay. Barbarian perspective. Rage. No barbarians. Hers whereas elven ones that separate themselves from the natural world, but they do tend to prefer sophisticated professions such as alchemy, engineering, and skilled trades. The average gnome enjoys his own cleverness too much to adopt the bold and direct approach to the barbarian. Yeah, but what if he's born with it? It's unfortunate because the gnome doesn't perform poorly in that role. Half elves, half orcs, halflings. Druid in perspective. Here we go. Nature is by definition uncontrollable. At best, you can attempt a momentary influence, but even that is subject to the whims of nature. Vadania. The druid's home is more spacious and possibly more beautiful than that of any other character. Tall oaks, pines, and elms form the roof over her world, a canopy more vibrant and interesting than any ceiling fresco. The grasses and leaves provide her with a floor and a soft bed. Where are the walls? The druid laughs, for she knows no walls. Maybe the big standing stones. No boundaries to her never-ending natural world. Well, those standing stones were there long before. On the origin of things. In history, druids were priests of Celtic tribes in Western Europe. Many stories and great legends describe these figures from our past. To learn more, visit your bookstore or check a few books out of your library and read about the druids who populated history. Good works to start with include Celtic Lore by Ward Rutherford, The Druids by Stuart Piggott, and Myths and Symbols of Pagan Europe, Early Scandinavian and Celtic Religions by Hilda Roderick Ellis Davidson. Keep in mind that the druids of the D&D game are based more on fantasy and fiction than on historical fact. Here, druids are not Celtic priests, and they don't follow the same beliefs, obey the same restrictions, or participate in the same rites that real druids did. Druids in the game have more in common with characters from Terry Brooks' Shanana series, Marion Zimmer Bradley's The Mists of Avalon, and Morgan Llewellyn's The Druid than with anyone from Earth's past. All right, interesting. By the way, this book was written Wizards of the Coast. Okay, so not that long ago. D20 system, 2002. Now, I have wizards.com/D&D. I don't think that's how they have it set up anymore. Okay, so yeah. Shananara series. That sounds interesting. I might pick up those books and see, check them out. Within her home or outside, the druid is never without friends. The wolf hiding in the grass, the hawk flying above, and the mighty bear. These make loyal traveling companions, whereas fearsome opponents were uninvited guests. Should she need clever scouts to prowl the bushes or soar through the sky in search of enemies, or strong warriors to protect her from harm, her friends can be at her side in a moment. If their aid isn't enough, she can become one of nature's creatures and either defeat her foes with claw and tooth, or take wing and escape. Woe to the Cretan who thinks the druid powerless outside her wood, for even in the darkest dungeon she is never without friends, spells, or powers. Unlike many adventurers, the druid is fully prepared to go it alone. The fighter, wizard, and rogue depend on the cleric to heal them, and the cleric depends on the fighter to keep the enemies at bay. The druid, on the other hand, can defeat her enemies with fiery spellcasting nearly as powerful as the sorcerers, take the form of a tiger or lion to gain the upper hand in melee, and then heal herself when the battle is done. Bruh, that's awesome. Because of this versatility, the druid has much to offer a group of adventurers. You know, this should include bards. She can take on any role that's required. Need a healer for the barbarian? Can do. Need a little more firepower to strike down foes from a distance? No problem. Need some spells to make the party tougher? Sure thing. How about a reasonable combat skills? Allies that can be summoned at a moment's notice, and the ability to bring down the rain or clear away the clouds. The druid, yeah, I'm totally digging it. This is my thing. But all these options, hundreds of druids can share the same world and still be nothing alike. One may concentrate on healing, another on creation of magic items, another on animal companions, and yet another on assuming other shapes. Yeah, I'm not so much on the shapeshifting thing, but that's interesting. I like that. Like if druids can pass over difficult terrain without difficulty. I really dig that. Oh look, here's a picture of one picking mushrooms. Druids can emerge from any natural environment. Where they are rarest is where cobbled stones and the noisy advance of civilization have replaced a carpet of leaves and the gentle song of the lark. Although I did see some videos on YouTube about, oh, druids can be from the city. Oh, God. Yeah, a couple of fags. It was ridiculous. But I did try to think of it as a concept of, like, what if you treated the city as a natural environment? What kind of city druid would that be? I guess a gnome one. The gnome druids would probably be like that, maybe. Some races are more likely than others to take up the druid's path for cultural reasons, but in game terms, there's no race that makes for an especially bad druid. Since wisdom is the primary ability score for the class, and no race has a bonus or penalty to this score, no obvious racial choice exists for druid characters. Humans. Although humans lack the special abilities of other races, the bonus skill points and feat they gain at first level make them excellent candidates for the druid class. After all, a druid who knows more of the forest's secrets, though extra ranks in wilderness lore, though it's by definition a more powerful druid. And the human druid also has the acceptance of her peers, especially if you have a savage or primitive background. Interesting. The one glaring human weakness, poor night vision, is problematical for druids, but they can eventually compensate for it through spells, magic items, or wild shape. Here we go, dwarves. My little theory is that dwarves would be best in caves. Let's see. Dwarven druids, as the player's handbook notes, are rare, since dwarves often exhibit fierce loyalty to clan or keep placing nature first. It doesn't come easily for most of them, nor does it help that many dwarves spend their lives working underground, carving up rock and stripping precious resources from the earth. Nevertheless, a dwarf who leaves that life behind can be a formidable defender of nature, tough beyond measure. The extra hit points a dwarf gets from her, it says her, racial constitution bonus are invaluable to a druid who spends a lot of time in battle. The druid's ability to take other forms through wild shape compensates nicely for the dwarf's slow movement rate, and dark vision is a real blessing. Yeah, I'm digging that. I totally dig a cave druid, dwarven cave druid. Like I was saying, the human druid would be good at open, open wild countrysides. And here we go, elves. Obviously, deep forests. Elves are the archetypal druids with good reason. From birth, children of this race learn to love the woodlands and the natural world in general. Elven druids have several racial advantages, not the least of which is their improved vision, low light vision, and bonuses to spot and search checks. Sadly, they must set aside their racial training in the longsword, rapier, and bow. A druid who uses any of those weapons loses all her druid powers for 24 hours. Longsword, rapier, and bow. Interesting. Druids can't use bows. The physical frailty of an elf, -2 penalty constitution, is a slight disadvantage, but one that most elven druids are willing to accept. Best of all, an elven druid can return to the woodland home of her youth and find acceptance and honor among her kind. Not many cultures are so accepting of the druid, and in few other settlements can she feel truly comfortable. Gnomes. Though many do not realize it, the gnomes' bond with the natural world is nearly as strong as the elves. Gnomes live simply in wooded hills and warm burrows. Unlike members of other races, they can converse with burrowing creatures through an innate speak with animals ability. Really? That's interesting. How tall are gnomes? Whether it is a blessing of the deities or a trick the gnomes learned over time, this ability bonds them with animals in a way that few others understand. Add in the gnome's low-light vision and natural hardiness, and the gnome druid has many of the dwarf's physical advantages as well as the social acceptance the elf enjoys. Though her small size makes the gnome druid physically weaker than a human, wild shape allows her to take the form of an animal with great strength, such as a bear or leopard. Humble, playful people that they are, gnomes make talented and steadfast. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Hmm. They live out in the hills, so they can converse with them. Hedgehogs. Burrowing creatures that can converse with. That's very interesting. I was thinking, dwarf and cave druiding, and gnomes also very interesting. Hmm. Half elves. Lost and looking for her place in the world, many a half elf finds solace in serving nature. Perhaps it's a way of accepting her elven half or appeasing elven kin, or perhaps the half elf whom society has cast aside finds a certain appeal in the sometimes lonely path of the druid. Whatever her reasons for taking up the class, the half elven druid benefits from her elven heritage through her improved vision. I keep saying improved, but it's improved vision. Half elves may also have an easier time getting along in a human dominated world than elves do. Half orcs. It's unfortunate that so few half-orcs take up the druidic path. Like their orc parents, many half-orcs live in wild frontiers, often far away from settled and well-defended towns. Those same frontiers are often home to druids. Half-orc characters have two significant advantages: dark vision, plus 2 racial bonus to strength. Moreover, although some may mock the half-orc for her lack of intelligence and her crudeness, a druid can live without great intelligence and charisma. Like the half-elf, the half-orc must live with a degree of social stigma, so she may find a solitary existence in the woods preferable to dealing with those who can't accept her for what she is. Nature, after all, embraces all living beings and brings peace to the tormented soul. Well, that's neat. Nah. I mean, I might just to make it like complete, but I don't really plan on making a half-orc character unless I was making a whole bunch. And I wanted to make one of each. Halflings. Halflings make good druids. Cool. Their natural athleticism and sensitive ears are ideal for outdoor survival, and their general good luck and bravery serve them well too. The primary reason that so few halflings take up the sickle and mistletoe is the strength of the halfling community. Their predilection for comfortable beds, fine food, and ample drink tends to discourage them from choosing more challenging lives in service to nature. The few who do take up the druid's path find that their size is no impediment to excellence. Monsters. Among the monstrous races, 2 stand out as likely druids: centaurs and lizard folk. Both races generally have tribal societies and both live in harmony with their environments. It is not uncommon in either culture to find druids in positions of leadership. The centaur makes an excellent druid because of her +3 racial bonus to wisdom, her natural familiarity with the outdoors, and her skill with horticulture. Her level equivalent is her class level +7, so a first level centaur druid would be appropriate for a 6th level party. Cool. Lizard folk druids are easier to integrate with the average game than are their centaur counterparts. If nothing else, it's easier to take lizard folk and a centaur into a dungeon. Since lizard folk's level equivalent is her class level plus 4, first level lizard folk druid can join a campaign when the average character level is only third. Unlike centaurs, lizard folk druids have no racial adjustment to their wisdom scores, but they do have respectable natural attacks at their disposal. As aquatic creatures, they're the only druidically inclined race that can also breathe water. Really? Huh. I did not know that lizard folk could breathe water. An enterprising player might also consider the dryad. Oh yes, I have a dryad and satyr, actually, that I intend as leaders of a little druid coven. Or, circle, whatever you want to call it. Dryad class levels plus 4, and the nymph class levels plus 12 as choices for a druid character. Both have strong ties to nature and abilities that benefit from the addition of the druid class. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I have a dryad figure. I intend as like a leader of druids. But yeah, I have a human druid figure, actually two of them. Um, but yeah, I have really been thinking about the dwarven druid lately, being like, cave dwelling druid. Would be awesome. Obviously, elves would be in the forest. Humans, the open steppe and rivers and stuff. Definitely like think about river environments. The druid and other classes. Wild shape. Choosing a wild shape, and then the ranger in perspective. The druid's defense of the natural world is neither short-sighted nor provincial. She is, in some sense, a living extension of nature's will. Therefore, when evil threatens the land, she's likely to enlist in the fight, even if it takes place far outside her grove. On other occasions, the druid may become involved in adventures out of loyalty to friends or out of curiosity about some aspect of nature. As noted above, the druid has no difficulty fitting into most adventuring parties. If you're playing a druid, you may find some good advice in the following paragraphs about getting along with your fellow adventurers. Barbarians. Though the barbarian may rush headlong into combat, your relationship with him tends to be a good one. Both of you have woodland skills, and while you may not share the same view of the world, you do traverse the same hills and valleys, and maybe he can use the bow and you can't. And she's clearly into him. Bards. You can understand the traveling lifestyle of the bard. Oh, that would be interesting. Like, yeah, because there was halfling bards in that case. They're like dwarf, druid, and no, what about gnomes? A dwarf bard would be interesting. Gnomes on the natural world is nearly as strong as the elves. Yeah, maybe I'll think of a gnome druid instead. Or maybe not instead. I'll just make I'm going hero forward to make a bunch of things. But as far as miniatures I have on hand, I only have humans and a dryad and a satyr. But yeah, the satyr is going to be my bard character. So that's fun. You can understand the traveling lifestyle of the bard, but you don't envy it. Bards tend to stir up nearly as much trouble as rogues do in their wanderings, but bards at least make charming and versatile adventuring companions. Their wide range of skills, their spellcasting talent, and their combat ability make them suitable backups for nearly any other character class. Add to that their incredible musical effects, and what's not to like? The bard reminds you that the zest for living is a good thing, and that whatever duties you take on, life is a precious gift and should be enjoyed, not merely spent. Very good. Yes. I was thinking about like in Earth history, the Druids and the Bards were both Celtic, and in Norse society, they were called Scalds, I think. Scalds, or the Norse version of the Bard, and I guess the Barbarian would be the Norse version. Bah bah. Bah 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 bah. Bah. You hear it making fun of Germans. It sounds like bah 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 bah. Clerics. You and the cleric share many spells and some similar obligations, but you certainly don't share the same viewpoint in life. Your mind is focused on the earth while he contemplates heavens, head in the clouds. And this difference does not necessarily make for poor relations. Indeed, you and he can develop a healthy respect for one another's abilities and come up with some highly useful spell combinations. True friendship is rare, however, unless the cleric has chosen the animal, plant, or sun domains. Fighters. It's always handy to have a fighter around when there's trouble. What's the difference between fighter and barbarian, really? I think I did go through that in the book. Although the barbarian may be tougher overall, the fighter is incredibly skilled in the art of war, which means he usually knows a lot of fighting tricks that can help his group defeat sophisticated and powerful adversaries. On the other hand, it seems that he devotes his entire life to combat. And what sort of attitude is that? It's a mindset that concentrating on petty squabbles instead of more important issues that encourages ever-increasing conflict in the world. All things considered, if you get along fine with the fighter when your goals coincide with his, but you would rather spend time with the ranger or the barbarian. Monks. The monk seeks enlightenment through an aesthetic lifestyle. Ascetic. Ascetic? Yeah. Which ultimately amounts to denial of the self. To you, that seems utter folly. While there may be other planes of existence, a state beyond mortal realm, people should live in the present. In this world, you should sympathize with that lonely figure who came out of a monastery, but you have trouble embracing her outlook on life. As long as she's content to let others pursue their own paths, though, you two might be able to forge a bond of friendship. Okay. Paladins. Your relationship with the paladin is often strained. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Because the two of you have different outlooks on life and devote yourselves to different goals. The two things you have in common are a sense of moral duty and the desire to protect something in this world. You're both champions of your causes, and at those times when your interests overlap, when confronted by an overwhelming evil, for instance, you can form an alliance that few foes can withstand. Lasting friendship between the two of you is rare. Rangers, as might be expected, you and the ranger get along well. Rangers. You share an understanding of the natural world, and though your means may vary, you see the need for each other. The one thing that disturbs you about the Rangers is vengeful dislike of certain creatures. And yeah, they're chosen foes. You can understand the desire to hunt, that's a natural instinct, but you don't understand the desire to eradicate a certain type of being. Though your skills tend to overlap, the two of you, together with your animal companions, can greatly increase the capabilities and sheer numbers of an adventuring party. Rogues. You appreciate rogues for their unique talents, but your lifestyle rarely brings you into contact with them. I think Annie's going to be a crocodile lizard person, bard. And Heidi's going to be a lion person, rogue. For the most part, that suits you just fine. The fact that civilized society considers rogues to be miscreants, thieves, and assassins doesn't concern you, since you care little for society's strictures anyway. But some rogues think of life as a game. Well, I mean, I agree with that. And too many others think of nothing but worldly goods. This leaves you little in common with the party's rogue, even though you respect their skills. Sorcerers. You may not fully understand the sorcerer or his origin. I think a rivalry between sorcerers and druids would make more sense. Like, yeah. The sorcerer is like unnatural magic, and so the druid would have a problem with that. The sorcerer, with some quirk of fate or bloodline, has a talent for magic, and unlike the wizard, he doesn't cloister his body inside a moldy tower or his mind inside an equally moldy tomb. Well, there's that. Yeah, maybe what I said about sorcerer makes more sense about wizards. Yeah, it's a wizard, unnatural magic, and the sorcerers have it in their blood. Charismatic people who don't hide from the world or hold themselves above it. Those attributes make it easy for you to get along with them. Wizards. There's a place for learning and a place for academic study. Wizards spend far too much time with their noses in books, not enough time getting exercise in the fresh air. But despite their typical lack of physical prowess, they often make pleasant companions and able adventurers, and their spells complement yours nicely. From your perspective, the only real flaw in the wizard's magic is that she draws her power from unnatural sources, calling in energy from places not of this world. Yeah, that's what I think. Thus, while you are wise enough to befriend the wizard in your own adventuring group, you often take some small pleasure in fighting a villainous wizard. Oh yeah, certainly. So I was writing up a campaign where Mad Madam Mim has sorcerer powers. Merlin is like they're really multi-class. Like it's a wizard. He's got a lot of books, so he's like a wizard. And she's got her magic in one little finger, so she's got the sorcerer thing going on. And she likes games. Whereas Merlin is definitely a wizard, although they have wild shape, so they have that druid skill, wild shape, both of them. Using wild shape. The wild shape is one of the druid's most useful and flexible class features. The following version of this ability supersedes the one presented in the player's handbook. At 5th level, a druid gains the spell-like ability to turn herself into a small or medium-sized animal, but not a dire or legendary animal, nor, and back again once per day. The druid may adopt only one animal form per use of this ability. The creatures available as wild shape forms include some giant animals, as described in Appendix 1 of the Monster Manual, but not beasts, magical beasts, or anything with a type other than animal. The druid may use wild shape to become a dog or a giant lizard, but not an owl bear. Not an owl bear. The form chosen must be that of an animal she's familiar with. A druid who has never been outside a temperate forest cannot become a polar bear. The druid can freely designate the new form's minor physical qualities, such as fur, feather, or skin color and texture within normal ranges for an animal of that kind. The new form's significant physical qualities, such as height, weight, and gender, are also under her control, but must fall within the norms of an animal species. The druid is effectively disguised as an average member of the new form's species. So, deer. Deer. My druid has a deer thing going on, so deer. Wild. Oh, yeah, I got a deer figure to go with my druid, and she's got a antler headdress, and yeah, I like the idea that she needs the headdress, the wild shape, but into the deer, yeah. She can become a buck. It's like it says, you don't have to become a female deer. Yeah. The druid is effectively disguised as an average member of a new form species, getting a +10 bonus on her disguise check as long as she maintains the form. This change of form never disorients the druid. Upon changing into an animal form, she regains lost hit points as if she had rested for a day. Though this healing does not restore temporary ability damage or provide any other benefits of resting for a day, and changing back does not heal her further. If slain, the druid reverts to her original form, and she remains dead. When the change occurs, the druid's equipment, if any, melds into her new form and becomes non-functional. I think that's weird. I think she just puts her stuff in a bag and leaves it somewhere. Material components and focuses melded in this way cannot be used to cast spells. That's just odd. I disagree with that. When the druid reverts to her true form, any objects previously melded into the animal form reappear in the same locations they previously were and are once again functional. Any new items the druid wore in animal form, such as saddle, rider, halter, fall off and land at her feet. Any that she carried in a body part common to both forms, mouth, hands, or leg. At the time, reversion is still held in the same way. So put something in your mouth. The druid, I guess she can't become a monkey if she's Doesn't live in that kind of forest. Anyway, the druid acquires the physical and natural abilities of the creature, whose form she has taken while retaining her own mind. Physical abilities include size as well as strength, dexterity, and constitution scores. Natural abilities include armor, natural weapons such as claws, bite, or gore. Sensory abilities such as low light vision, and similar gross abilities. Physical qualities, presence or absence of wings, gills, number of extremities, and so forth. Antlers. Natural abilities also include mundane movement capabilities such as walking, swimming, and flying with wings. Druid also gains all the racial bonuses and feats of the animal form, so she does not gain any supernatural spell-like abilities such as breath weapons, gaze attacks of the form, but does gain all the form's extraordinary abilities. All these alter and last until wild shape ends. The druid's new scores and faculties are average ones for the species into which she is transformed. She cannot, for example, turn herself into a wolf with a strength of 20. Likewise, she cannot change into a bigger or more powerful version of a creature, or smaller with a version. The druid retains her own intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores, level of classes, hit points, despite any change to their constitution. Alignment, base attack bonus, and base save bonuses. New strength, dexterity, and constitution scores may affect final attack and save bonus. The druid also retains her own type, for example, humanoid, extraordinary abilities and spell-like abilities, but not her supernatural abilities. She loses her ability to speak while in animal form, because she's limited to the sounds that a normal, untrained animal can make. The normal sound a wild parrot makes is a squawk. So changing to this form does not permit speech. I don't know. I would like to include being able to make the parrot talk as a thing. It's like a higher level. If you're a high level wild shaper, totally turn into a talking parrot. Though the druid retains any spells she previously carried, her new form may not permit her to use them. Thus, chosen forms want a prehensile hand, such as a monkey or an ape, or some other manipulative appendage. The druid may not be able to manipulate zero components to focus her spells, even if those are not melded into her new form. Likewise, her lack of a human-like voice means you cannot cast spells with verbal components or activate command word. In the same manner, the lack of appropriate appendages may prevent her from using manufactured weapons and magic items. If the usability of a particular spell or item is in doubt, the DM makes the decision. The druid can use this ability more times per day at 6th, 7th, 10th, 14th, and 18th level, as noted on table 3 to 8 in the player's handbook. In addition, she gains the ability to take the shape of a large animal at 8th level, a tiny animal at 11th, and a huge animal at 15th. At 12th level and beyond, she can take the form of a dire animal. At 16th level, the druid may use wild shape to change to small, medium-sized, or large elemental. Earth, air, fire, or water once per day. She gains all the elemental special attacks and special qualities when she does so, regardless of ability type. That is, she gains supernatural and spell-like abilities of the elemental, as well as extraordinary ones. She also gains the elemental's feats and racial skill bonuses, for as long as she maintains the wild shape while retaining her own creature type. At 18th level, she can assume elemental form 3 times per day. Beginning at 5th level, the druid gains the ability to use wild shape. During her career, a variety of choices present themselves as she masters larger and smaller forms. She usually can assume the form of a dire animal or an elemental. The array of options can be downright bewildering. Primary consideration in selecting an animal form is what you want it for. Yeah, I chose deer to leave in case she has to run away from me. If she's out there and comes across something she can't deal with, she can just turn into a deer and flee. I guess that's when having your stuff kind of part of you makes sense. That way I don't lose any of my junk. Okay, detecting. The druid can use extraordinary abilities to form to blind sight is dire bat or porpoise. Yeah, if you need to swim away, being a porpoise is good. Low light vision, the snake and the owl. Fly. Control situation wild shapes take wing as a hawk or eagle. fast enough to escape from an advancing army, the landbound monster. The owl doesn't fly fast, 40 feet. In a dungeon or against some airborne foes, a cheetah or horse may be more appropriate. Light horse, cheetah moves 150 feet, 500 feet in a sprint. Escape as long as you're fast moving though. Well, I should take one with tiny animal and use hide to avoid enemies. You're doing formidable time. Until 8th level, you can use wild shapes to become a large animal. The best choices are the wolverine, black bear, or leopard. 3 attacks each. The black bear offers highest strength score, and the leopard the highest AC. Wolverine's rage ability grants the same strength bonus as the black bear, plus a few additional hit points. The form of a constrictor snake might also prove very useful, especially against enemy spellcasters. Constrictor snake, that's interesting. For an 8th level druid, the polar bear reigns supreme with its strength score of 27. The heavy horse is weaker in combat, but a lot less conspicuous, if that's a concern. The only option worth considering are the big cats, lions, tigers, and pounce and rake abilities are a fair trade for the polar bear's higher strength. The tiger is uniformly tougher than the lion, but both can hold their own in combat. Finally, reach provides a significant advantage in fighting the druid and gain that in the form of a large viper. Dire tiger. At 16th level, the druid gains a significant new option, elemental form. And this allows the druid access to all special abilities of the chosen elemental, including whirlwind, drench, vortex, push, and burn. Because of its high strength score, the earth elemental is probably the best choice, while the water elemental has a better AC. The AC is not a factor, however, the dire bear is still a better fighter. No, simply because of its high strength. Impressing foes. Bears, lions, elementals impress local populace and frighten even veteran mercenaries. A DM may allow +2 circumstance bonus on intimidate checks for a druid using an impressive form. The druid usually impressing other animals. The druid usually relies on her animal empathy skill to calm hostile or hungry animals and reassure them that violence is not necessary. The druid who takes the time to use wild shape to assume the target animal's form often has an easier time in this negotiation, although she doesn't gain the ability to speak with the creature directly. They represent this advantage. The DM may allow a druid a +4 circumstance bonus on animal empathy checks made against an enemy in which form she is assumed. Scouting. Avian forms are good for scouting, but don't overlook subterfuge as an option. An old story tells of a druid who learned all her enemies' plans when she assumed the form of a heavy horse and served the day as the steed for the commander of the evil army. Most people pay little attention to horses, livestock, or passing frogs. The druid can profit from that. Yeah, frogs. Froggy. Training animal. The training process becomes much easier if the druid can simply assume the animal's form and demonstrate the behavior or action she wants. The DM may allow the druid a +4 circumstance bonus on her handle animal checks when she uses wild shape in this fashion. Traveling. Because of their good fly speed, birds are the obvious choices for travel. Should travel by ocean, sea, or river be an option? The dire shark moves at an impressive speed, 9 feet, that even the eagle cannot match. At 15th level higher, the druid should seriously consider the form of an air elemental travel because of its incredible fly speed of 100 feet. And the next is Ranger. A favored enemy, yeah. Do unto others as they seek to do unto you. So these skills and feats. Hide, wild feats. There's a picture of a standing stone here. You can make an infusion to cast spells. You eat you eat a plant and cast a spell that way. Yeah. Standing stone. This massive stone obelisk increases the druid's ability to cast a single spell in contact with it. The creator chooses a druid spell for the stone to affect and a specific sacrifice, such as a cow or pile of gems that activates it. Thereafter, any druid can use the meld into stone spell to merge with the standing stone and discover those two pieces of information. Standing stone for herself when they're making designated sacrifice. Really? What is this? Contact and activate such cast that spell as if it were effective with a feat from power spell and lower spell and extend spells. Because each standing stone affects only one spell, each item is typically arranged in circles, no more than 30 feet between any adjacent pair, so that a druid may move to a new stone to cast a new spell each round. The caster level and market price included are determined by the level of the spell. So really, what is this about stones? How do you get this? Oh. Gardening, preparing, healers, infusions, animal companions, dire toad, dire hawk, dire horse. I don't see deer anywhere. I'd be surprised how effective deer are in combat, at least against each other. Yeah. What's this? No, evil druids or blighters. Grim, Madam Mim. She likes the light and gruesome and grim and withers flowers. Friendless and mad. That's weird. Okay. Ooze master. There's wizards normally bars usually that take me in another direction. Or this one looks too creepy. Beast. Tempest. Verdant dude. Order the Virgin Code. This is a great Bogan. Boggins. Hey, Boggins. Prestige classes. Ooh. The type of magic item, the infusion. That's pretty neat. Oh, the Book of Wild Targets is back here too. Keep this running. Oh, the Book of Wild Targets. An evil. And me for Bard's very based system. Their astrology matters. I like that. Alright, this is one. We'll pick up next time with combat. I have been sketching each of the stones of Stonehenge. Just blankly. Done 9 so far. And I'm almost finished with number 10. Number 10 is done, actually. Most of it. Yeah. Actually, yeah, here's number 10. It is done. Number 10 is a weird stone, though. I don't think it was actually meant to be a standing stone. It looks more like the size and shape of a pencil. And it's sitting there crooked on the ground. It's at a very crooked angle for some strange reason. And then 9 is a recumbent stone in 2 pieces. And 8 is a recumbent stone. And I think it's missing a piece. And 7 looks like it's got a weird smiley face. So does yeah, so does the front of number 5. It looks like it has a weird smiley face. 4 looks like it has a picture of an elephant. And for some reason, number 3 has a big old gouge in the front. 2 is very, very wide at the base. There's a big groove in the bottom. Anyways, number 1 is very pretty. That did pretty well with this one. Looks like the prettiest one I did. As I moved on to the others, not as pretty. Number 1 definitely came out the prettiest. Okay, so number 10 is done. So, it's number 11. Number 11 is the short one. Number 11 I didn't do yet. I did some of it. Yeah. Fine. Every stone of Stonehenge getting sketched and then getting cut out of it. Already got the shapes carved into this. But I really feel like I need to look in depth at all the textures to get it right. Messed up. Chin still hurts.